The doors are all locked. I want to go for a walk.
I'm afraid not.
Don't you realize you're the one who's sick?
All we want is to keep you safe. That baby is everything.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy Mitchell. I'm a contributing editor at Screen International. I'm thrilled to be here today talking with the team behind CORVIDAE. The film is directed by Joe Marcantonio. He also co-wrote the script with Jason McColgan. The film is produced by Dominic Norris and Jack Lowden through their new company, Reaver Pictures. The film is sold by Beta Cinema for the world, with UTA handling North America, and it will be screening by invitation only for buyers at the new virtual Cannes Marché. I'm thrilled we've got some of the key creatives with us today. We've got writer-director Joe Marcantonio, alongside 3 members of the cast, Jack Lowden, who I also mentioned is a producer on the film as well, Tamara Lawrance, and Fiona Shaw. Welcome, everybody.
Hello. Hi. Thank you.
So, Joe, for people who know nothing about this film, can you tell us a little bit what it's about?
So CORVIDAE is the story of a young woman named Charlotte who's pregnant, and she's living with her boyfriend in rural Scotland, and he dies very suddenly and tragically. And so in her grief, she gets taken in by his mother and his stepbrother into their big old family kind of crumbling mansion. And they say they'll look after her through the pregnancy, but then after a while, she starts to suspect that maybe there's something a bit more sinister going on.
We should do a blood test to be sure, but I'm quite certain you're pregnant. Congratulations.
It is such good news.
We're meant to be going away. How are we going to do that?
You'll go as a family.
You're not stealing my own flesh and blood to the other side of the planet.
We have to do what's right for us.
Charlotte! We did everything we could. I'm sorry.
What have you done?
Fiona, what drew you to working with a new talent as a first-time feature filmmaker? And this quite challenging character, I think. She's quite a tricky woman.
Well, Joe is an amazingly delightful person, and he just came to visit me and just talked about his film with such enthusiasm and such knowledge. And he clearly built this story out of, in a way, it's been a fantastic tool for him to use the genres that he understands so well. But at the center of it is absolutely something that he understands, which is about parenthood and its difficulties and the anxieties that are both conscious and unconscious. And I just loved working with them. Dom, Jack, and Joe are a wonderful team of people to work with. They are unusual in that you feel very, very comfortable with them. And then they found this extraordinary house that was beyond hellish to be in and was so beautiful to see that they had this other character who was another character that kind of dominated all of us, I think.
I did want to talk about this amazing manor house.
That house is like many houses I knew as a child, but this is a particularly dilapidated, particularly beautiful, particularly large. There are 3 rooms, a dining room, a drawing room, and another drawing room that lead one to the other, that overlook this river and this beautiful landscape outside. The mother who I play is obsessed with 9 generations, and the film, I think, deals with that. The old world, which is obsessed with family and the self-abnegation of yourself in order to just keep the house going. And then Tamara's character comes along, a young woman who he met at university, who has none of that nonsense and has no interest in it. And I think that is a real debate in the world too. You know, I very much enjoy that first scene with Tamara where she sort of looks at her boyfriend and wonders, why is he in any doubt about going in? Why do you want to stay in this place?
Mum, we've decided that we're moving.
Well, that is good. You know, I think the Henderson's place is becoming available.
No. We're moving to Australia.
Excuse me.
Australia. We've been thinking about it for a while, and it's kind of...
This makes sense.
Yeah. What about your responsibilities?
What responsibilities, Mum?
It's ours. Your family. 9 generations.
Yeah.
Your brother is leaving me.
Tamara, did that being in this sort of dilapidated house help you get into character as this sort of outsider coming into this world she doesn't really want to be in?
I mean, yeah, it was literally, I was literally a girl from London in the arse end of nowhere, in a massive house, surrounded by strangers. Like, it was literal, it was just the literal, it was the exact same situation. And yeah, it was very easy to tap into feelings of loneliness or estrangement or anxiety.
I'm wondering about one particular scene. Charlotte wakes up and Thomas is in the bed next to her. And this is, you know, at a point in the film where maybe she's been trusting him a little bit more, but maybe she's also thinking, can I trust him?
Oh my God. Thomas, what are you doing?
What?
Why are you in here?
You were screaming the night, so I came in. You wouldn't let me leave, do you not remember?
No. Oh, can you get out, please?
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
I think what's really great about that scene is that it's one of those scenes that kind of encapsulates that line that the film walks, of being like, is this okay, or is this really weird? Like,
that is one of my favourite scenes to watch as well, because it's sort of ridiculousness, but it's underlying, which is the film really in a nutshell, that sort of underlying threat and terror.
I've ordered everything for the nursery so we can start painting soon.
nursery?
Yeah, for the baby.
We won't be living here, Thomas.
No, I know. It's for when you visit. Hopefully.
You know, it's quite a tense film to watch, but was it tense working together on set, or was it a bit more free-flowing than we see on screen?
I found set to be both fun and a masterclass at the same time.
Tamara and I went to the same drama school, though obviously not at the same time. So I loved working with this young RADA graduate who has other experience as well, but that was very, very nice.
Fiona is like remarkably playful, and I guess obviously people would expect that someone of your experience and caliber would be different, but I never felt hierarchy at all. And yeah, and Joe obviously, through allowing us to have input, created a very collaborative environment, so I definitely felt safe.
There's a particular scene between the two of them midway through the film where Fiona has locked all the doors. We've decided that we need to lock her in, and there's a confrontational scene between the two of them that I've watched it so many times. I was watching it with my partner recently, and we watched it again and again and again because the playfulness between the two of them just explodes.
Margaret, the doors are all locked. I want to go for a walk.
I'm afraid not.
Well, what do you mean? You can't lock me inside?
The baby is due any time now. It's time for you to stay in bed.
So I can't even leave the house now?
You're not well. You don't even seem to realise that. It's terribly sad.
No, Margaret, I'm not ill.
Your mother, she was ill too, wasn't she?
You don't know anything about my mother.
Did she scream in her sleep too?
Give me the key.
No.
Give me the key! No! I'm leaving.
You have nowhere to go.
Oh, really? Really?
You can spare me the histrionics.
Crazy bitch.
Why don't you just go up to your room and get into bed and wait for Thomas to prepare your food?
Jack, had you been thinking of going into producing, and why was this the right project to start with?
I had been thinking about it quite seriously for a while. I first met Dominic, and he brought me sent me CORVIDAE to just be in as an actor. And I thought the script was really cool, really unique and different. And then it was Dominic's idea that maybe I could help produce. And having met Joe, where the vast mountains of things that I had no clue about or I have no experience of, that vast mountain was in Joe, and so I was able to just sort of slot in behind Joe.
Joe, I did want to come to you next to talk about another particular scene, which is we don't want to spoil the whole ending of the film, but at some point we've mentioned that Charlotte wants to break away from the house.
We wanted a moment of high tension, and we wanted to really feel the kind of the nervous energy, which means that like a long unbroken take is really the best thing to go for. I think the energy that creates is kind of, you know, worth its weight in gold. I think, you know, that's cinema. And this was a long, single, unbroken take all the way to the gates of the house.
The tension of trying to get that right lends itself very nicely to kind of the tension of the situation.
This film offers so many sort of layers of character and plot and tone. And what were some of the interesting themes that this story brought up for you?
The main things for me were parenthood, particularly motherhood, gaslighting, fear of turning into your parents, that idea of trying to break away, you know, and people trying to drag you back.
Obsession, I would say, in terms of theme, from Thomas's point of view, for sure, and affirmation, and you know, being terrified of you know, dying and not being remembered for something. It's inadvertently sort of stumbled into sort of territory of things that are going on at the moment, I guess, with isolation.
Like freedom versus isolation, and how entrapment contributes to mental illness, basically.
The kind of masterfulness of Joe in holding, whether they're called themes or styles or atmospheres, in one film that was just made in a house. It was great to be part of it. I was very, you know, I feel this is the new generation, and they're coming.
Well, I'm also very excited for people to get to see this film soon. A reminder that for buyers, it's going to be screening by invitation only at the new virtual Cannes Marché coming up. You can talk to Beta Cinema about getting an invite. And I can't wait for the rest of the world to see it later. As we mentioned, Beta is handling worldwide sales with UTA repping North America. It's really been wonderful having all of you here today. Joe, Jack, Tamara, Fiona, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about CORVIDAE, and can't wait for this film to get into the world. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks.